Question 28. 5/8 divided by 2. Well, we're dividing a fraction now. So what we can do to help is actually remember how to multiply fractions and change this question into a multiplying fractions question. As we've already said, if you're multiplying two fractions, all you do is you do the top times the top and then the bottom times the bottom. Okay, but obviously we need to change it into a multiplying fraction question first. And down the bottom here, I've made a note of this little fraction wrap, which can be found on YouTube if you type in fraction wrap for division. And it goes like this. Keep it, change it, flip it, that's the action. Everyone wants to know how I'm dividing fractions. And all we've got to do is apply that wrap to this question. So, the keep it bit, which is the first bit, refers to keeping the 5/8 as it is. So we're going to keep 5/8 as 5/8. The change it refers to changing the divide for a times. We've just said we're going to try and change this dividing question into a times question. But you can't just change the divide for a times and keep the 2 as it is. That's where the third bit comes in, flip it. Now you flip this 2 upside down. But wait a minute, 2, how can you flip 2 upside down? Well, we need to change this 2 into a fraction, and there is actually an invisible 1 underneath the 2, an invisible divide by 1. 2 is the same as 2 over 1, because 2 divided by 1 is still 2. So every time you see a whole number, you could turn it into a fraction by putting the invisible 1 underneath it. So now we can flip that one upside down. So 2 over 1 becomes 1 over 2. And just like that, we've turned it into one of these questions that we can now do. Top times top, bottom times bottom. But you can't just flip the second one upside down. This is why we've had to change the divide for a times. And it's a little trick that cancels each other out. Flipping the second one upside down cancels out changing the divide for a times, which is why we will now get the same answer. 5/8 divided by 2 is going to give us the same answer as 5/8 times by 1 over 2. It will have the same answer. So, top times top, 5 times 1 is 5, bottom times bottom, 8 times 2 is 16. So our answer, our final answer, is going to be 5/16. There is another way you could have done that question. 5/8 divided by 2. Well, you could have made an equivalent fraction where both the numerator and the denominator are even numbers. So, for example, if you doubled both the 5 and the 8, you would get 10/16. And that's an equivalent fraction. So 10/16 divided by 2, it's like saying 10 oranges divided by 2 would be 5 oranges. 10 apples divided by 2 would be 5 apples. So 10/16 divided by 2 would be 5/16. And again, that is exactly the same as what we've got here. So 2 different ways that you could think about that one.